anymore.
Okay, we're up to Daf Kuf Dalet Amid Aleph, about 7-8 lines down to 2 dots. Itmar, Shliach Shaso Be'edim. A bit of a digression, and we're going to, again, anytime you have a digression, somewhere it's going to tie into the Mishnah. It always does that. So, Shliach Shaso Be'edim, a Shliach that was made with Edim. Rav Chisda Amar Have Shliach, Rabbi Amar Lo Have Shliach. Now, what are we speaking about? Says Rashi, Shliach she'asu be'edim, Ruvain sheyesh lo mois biyad Shimon. Ruvain has money in Shimon's possession, and he wants what? And he wants to get it back. Umino shliach be'edim, and he goes ahead and he appoints a shliach edim lekablam himenu unisanam loy, and he gives it to him. So the question is when he gives it to the shliach, is a shliach lekabala, and therefore it's as if he returned his loan, he repaid his loan, and you don't have to worry about the trip back, or no, or so and therefore have a shliach v'im nenasu b'derech. And if the shliach, an onus happens on the way, pata balabayis, Shimon would be pata, shenaslim loy, because she gave it to him. Good. But if you hold that enos is shliach, so really, I guess in different terminology, can he make a shliach lekabal in front of Edim or not? Now, you be there telling me, why not? I just live Masech the Gittin. You could make a shliach lekabala. So Taisus enlightens us a little bit. Let's see the Taisus fellas. Shliach she'asu. L'chayra nira, the shliach, it's a fourth Taisus up, fifth Taisus up, right before the lines get wide. L'chayra nira, the Iri Kigain, the lay amulay, that lay amulay shaliach loy al yedei rak edim. In other words, he didn't say to go ahead and send it only through edim. Let's see the back over here. Hey, Kigain the lay amaloy ema leploini. They didn't say to so and so yishalach li al yadcha. Rak edim eidim she'asu shliach lehevi loy. Avlam hoya oima loy emer leploini yishalach li al yadcha pshita dehave. In other words, if they would say in front of edim that so and so should send it to me, then it would be good. That's not the shiloh over here. In other words, he made him an aid over here, but he didn't say the magic words that he should send it to me. However, at the end of Tzaisis, it says the line before Rabba, right, where front of above the line of Rabba, the kaf tzarich leimar the bechol inyan shalei b'fanav lo have a shliach. Bechol inyan shalei b'fanav is not a shliach. At sheyom aloi b'fanav shaleach li al yadai. Says Tzaisis. In other words, you know when he's a shliach lekabala. If you say in front of the person who owes you money, send it with him. In other words, initially, guys, Taisus suggests that if you say in front of the Edim that you should send it, and then Taisus, because of a kasha, which we can't do because we didn't see the Gemara yet, says it's not true. It appears that in order for the shliach to be a shliach, that it should be considered that you returned your loan because he was makabel, he would have to say it in front of the loiva to repay the loan. That's the way, and Rashi does say it. Rashi said, he says in front of the loiva, I'm making this person a shliach to makabel it from you. Now, Adam. So now, if you look at Rashi Pata, now at sheyoim eloi mi piv shalshalch eloi biad b'noi. Okay, so we're going to see what it's discussing. Okay, so now, one more time. Itmar. Shliach shaso be'edim. A shliach that you make with edim. Not in front of the person that you want to return it to you. Rav Chisda Amar have a shliach. And therefore, if the person returns it, as soon as he gives it to the shliach, he's off the hook. That's it. Rabbi Amar lo have a shliach. Rav Chisda Amar have a shliach. Why? Lahachi tarche. Therefore, he troubled himself. V'ukmi be'edim, and he established the shikha in front of witnesses. The leiki b'shusei, to be established that it's his rishus. So if you would give it to the shliach, you're giving to his rishus, and therefore it's considered a hashava. Rabbi Amar, Rabbi says loy havi shliach, and hachi kamar. You know what he's saying? Inish mehimnahu. This guy is a faleslicha guy. He's a believable guy. He's samcha. If you're samach on him, samach, great. And therefore, if you want to send it back with him, you can. I trust him that what? He'll be honest, but it's not considered a hashava. It's only that this is a trustworthy guy. So in other words, guys, did you make him a shliach l'kabbalah or did you make him a shliach l'halacha? Loi Rav Chisda, what did you accomplish? He's a shliach l'kabbalah, and therefore, if you give it to him, he's off the hook. If anything happens to the money, tough luck, right? On the other hand, Rabbi says no. All the Eidish accomplished was not that he's your shliach. The Eidish accomplished that this person is a trustworthy person, and if you decide to give it to him, to bring to me, it's okay. But not that giving it to him will make it like it came in my rishus already. And if anything happens to it, you're going to have to pay. You'll be chay boinus. Guys, you hear? Guys, the best way to understand is the shliach leilach, shliach kabbalah. Let's go back to getting. A guy sends a get. A guy sends a get to his wife. Bring the get. Is she divorced when the shliach gets it? Absolutely not. If a woman makes a shliach to go ahead and bring the get to her, she's not divorced yet. If she makes the shliach to be makabel the get, then she's divorced. Why? Because he is her rishus. That's the shiloh over here. Loi Rav Chisda, when you made this shliach in front of Eidim, it's as if it's you. And therefore, if the person returns the money to him, it's as if he returned it to you, and it's in your rishus. Loi Rav Rabba, it's a shliach la'ilacha. He's a trustworthy person. He'll do the job. But it's not considered in my rishus, and therefore, if you give him money to bring to me and he's robbed, you're still going to have to go ahead and reimburse me. Why? Because you didn't give it to me yet. It's only in the hands of the shliach bringing it to me. Tanan, Hashoyel, a Mishnah in Bab Mitzia, in the Perak Hashoyel. Hashoyel is a para. Someone borrows a cow. V'shilcha biyad benoi, biyad abdoi, biyad shluchoi, or biyad benoi, biyad abdoi, biyad shluchoi shel shoyel. Either the marshal sends it in the hands of his shliach or his son, or he sends it in the hands of the shliach or the eved of the shoyel, umesa, and it dies. Pata. Now all we care about is the last case, guys. If I go ahead and I borrow a cow from Rabbi Avi, and I send the shliach to bring the cow, Rabbi Avi gives the cow to me, and the cow dies, I am potter from paying. It's still considered in Rabbi Avi's rishus. It's not in my rishus yet. So I appointed a shliach to bring the cow to me, and nonetheless, if the cow dies, I'm not responsible yet for Einstein. It's a raya that the shliach that was made, there was not a shliach for Kabbalah. Or else if it's a shliach Kabbalah, it would be in my rishus already, correct? But yet you see that you're potter, I'm potter from paying Rabbi because it never left his rishus yet. Now, the Gemara wants to know, what is the shliach? What? That's when I send it for a shlichus, right? But again, to do something. But again, with question over here is it that's I'm sending him, is it a Kabbalah or not? You know, the question is, I sent you the right shluch shalom the Kamei Savat. No, but not. It's not a universal din. That to divorce, to send a get, to give a get. Over here is a shayla of jurisdiction. Which rishus is the shayla in? So the shliach's doing a shlichus to bring it to me, but is he me yet? Is he me yet? So that's the shayla. That's the crux of Meleg. That's the crux of the machlokes over here. Is it me or not? Is it a Kabbalah and it is me or not? So now, when it says "Hi shluchi," with me back to Shilas. Now, "Hi shluchi hechidami." What exactly is the shliach? Again, this case where he's pata. This case where the shliach is pata. Idaloi asa be'edim. If I didn't make the shliach in front of edim, minoy adinan. How do you know to give it to him, fellas? A guy shows up and says, "I'm here to go ahead and get a cow." What do? Just give it to anybody? It must be that you know he's a shliach. So how would you know he's a shliach? Only al yidei edim. Ella the asa be'edim. The ketani, and what did you see? The potter, that the shoyel is still potter. You know why? Because it's considered still in the rishus of the mashal. Why? Because if you make a shliach with edim, it's not a shliach l'kabbalah. It's only a shliach l'halacha. Kasha l'Rav Chisda. It's a kasha on Rav Chisda. It's a kasha guys on Rav Chisda who says that what? It is a shliach l'kabbalah. Kasha on Rav Chisda. Says the Gemara Kedom Rav Chisda. As Rav Chisda says somewhere else, it's not speaking where you appointed the shliach at all. It's speaking about a person that is, you know, the guy. He's your right hand. But you didn't appoint him as a shliach. He's the guy who does work for you. B'schiroi. He does jobs for you. or lakitoi, or is a person that you use for companionship. So you didn't appoint him as a shliach. Ein achinami, according to Rav Chisda, had you appointed him as a shliach, you would be chayev b'insim. Here, it's not a shliach at all. It's a person that you recognize, or a person that is common companionship, and therefore you would give it the mishaleh, the mashal would give it to him. After all, he knows this guy is friendly with him. On the other hand, he was never manem a shliach, that it should be a kasha on Rav Chisda. So Rav Chisda has held serve. No question from the Mishnah Nashayel is not. He's refuted that. It's not speaking in mamish about a shliach. It's speaking about someone who he knows or is accustomed to, and therefore the mashal gives it to him. But it's still just a mashal because he wasn't a shliach at all. Hachanami. So again, Rav Chisda is going to say that at another venue. Hachanami here as well in the Mishnah in Perek HaShoel b'shakir v'lekitai. Again, another attempt to figure out the machloikus between Rav Chisda and Rabbi. Tanan. And guess where this is from, guys? From our Mishnah. Again, that's the rule of thumb. If it's something that's obscure, you know they're going to go ahead and try to bring a raya from the Mishnah. I point this out all the time. Okay, now, why did our Mishnah say, fellas? Let's go back in time. A special halacha of Asham Gezelis. You go ahead, a person makes a claim, where's my money that you found? Where's the money I lent you? Where's the money that you stole? Where's the object? Whatever it is, lav dafka money, anything. You go ahead and say, lo hadam nishka tzoygin and nishka floygin, I never took it. You then swear to the fact that you never went ahead and took it. You swear to that fact. You then go ahead and you admit that you did. You chayiv keren, the principal, chaimish, a quarter, and what? And you're going to have to bring a carbon, asham gezelos. In addition, you're going to have to go ahead all the way to Madai, to the end of the world, to go ahead and return this. That was the Mishnah. Good. What happens if you return it to his son? No good. What happens if you return it to his shliach? No good. Good. So there's your kasha on what? On Rav Chisda. Says the Gemara, Taran, Layitain, you shouldn't give the object that you're mechuyev to return, loy lebeno, not to the beno, the son of the nigzal, the one that you stole from, loy leshluchai, not to his shliach. Now, hay shluchai hechidami, who exactly is the shliach? If you to make it be'edim, mino yadinon. So a guy shows up and says, "What? Listen, I'm the representative of the person that you stole from. Give it to me." Now it must be that what? It's a shliach. How would you know it's a shliach? Because there's edim. Elolav the asu be'edim, and nonetheless, what? It's not considered a hashava because this person is not a shliach l'kabbalah. Kasha on Rav Chisda. Again, same kasha. And now we have the teretz. Tirgma Rav Chisda that is speaking b'shakiru l'kitoi. It's speaking again, the same teretz, guys. It's not speaking about a person that you were mana, that you appointed a shliach. It's speaking about a person that works for him, a person that accompanies him, a person that you would know that he represents him, but not necessarily as a shliach, that you could go ahead and be mekayim your mitzvah of hashava. So again, machloikis Rav Chisda and Rabbi says Rav Chisda, again, you make a shliach be'edim. Rabbi says you can't. Rav Chisda says you could, using the model of shliach l'kabbalah, shliach halacha. We understand it very well. Here in the case, you see two cases, either in the Mishnah of Hashoyel or our Mishnah by Gezela. We see in both cases it's not considered a return. Obviously, the shliach is not a shliach l'kabbalah. Kasha and Rav Chisda, same teretz. It's not a shliach at all. It's speaking a person that you recognize or a person that accompanies you all the time. It works for you. Now, what's the inference? What happens if you would have made this shliach be'edim, guys? It would work, yeah? In other words, the reason why, if you return the stolen object, our Mishnah, to these guys, it doesn't work, is because they were never appointed be'edim. Mashmit, they were appointed be'edim, they do. So here we go through another one of the models that I've always focused on. If you could tell me the chiddush, guys, if you could tell me the chiddush in case number one, why introduce case number two? Lift, right? Right? So now, says the Gemara. Aval shliach she'asu be'edim mai. A shliach that you me'edim, how would it then be? Hachanami dav a shliach, he will be a good shliach, and therefore your hashava will be a good hashava. Adatani seifa, when you learn the seifa of the Mishnah, if you want to return something and you don't want to go to Madai, what do? Aval noisin hu l'shliach bezdin. You give it to the shliach bezdin. Now, 1 second. It's mashma. The only option you had was to give it to a shliach bezdin. But fellas, if you're telling me a shliach you make with Eidim would be a shliach Kabbalah, so you do have another eitzah besides giving to a shliach bezdin. You can give it what? To the shliach that you did with Eidim. So the Gemara says, let's go with the Bach now. Make the distinction in the Reisha itself. B'didei. When is it not considered a returning? That's b'shliach shle'asa be'edim. It's a shliach that you didn't make be'edim. Aval shliach she'asa be'edim, a shliach you did make be'edim. Then what? Then it would go. It would be good. It would work, guys. Again, outside. It's always good. What I try to do is along the way of learning Gemara and giving you a share, I'm giving you the little mechanics of Gemara, the pitchifkis of Gemara that you should know by now. One of them is the Gemara only introduces a latter case when you wouldn't hear the Chiddush in the case before. So, why did the Gemara say, outside, guys, why did the Gemara say? If you go ahead, you have to go to Madai to bring it to this guy. And if he sends a shliach to bring it to this guy, it's not a good hashava. So, but you want another hashava that you don't have to go to Madai, give it to a shliach bezdin. So you introduced the only possibility of hashava was to give it to the shliach bezdin, meaning his shliach is never going to work. Only shliach bezdin is going to work. Like Rav Chisda, you have a model that his shliach will work. That it doesn't work is the shliach was not a shliach, it wasn't appointed with Eidim. But if the shliach was appointed with Eidim, it would work. So why did you have to go ahead and introduce the shliach bezdin? Look with this make a distinction in his own shliach. The Medavarm, it doesn't work when he didn't have Eidim, but if it was Eidim, it would work. Kashan of Kista says the Gemara. No, there's a reason. Amri is the Bnei Yeshiva loy pesikale. It's not always like that. I'm the best type of pesika. The art school type is absolute. I would say that it's not always that way. Perish. Shliach bezdin by shliach bezdin. It doesn't make a difference if the person it was stolen from went to Bezdin. If either one, the Gazlan or the Nigzal, approached Bezdin to appoint a Shliach, have a Shliach. In other words, it's when it says Shliach Bezdin, it doesn't make a difference. Whether it was the robber or the Rabbi, right? It doesn't make a difference. Psikale. Shliach Shasu Be'edim, the Chiyasu Nigzal, who have a Shliach? The only person who can make it is the person who was stolen from. Asu Gazlan loy have shliach, right? So therefore, be'edin the asu nigzal have who have shliach. Asu Gazlan loy have shliach. So loy pesikale that it would not. It's not absolute. And for the Gemara, guys, outside. And for the Gemara outside. So says the Gemara, beautiful. You want to know why we introduced shliach bezdin when you could have told me the chiddush in the first case? Because the Kiddush in the first case is not carte blanche across the board. It doesn't always work. It can work, but not always. When does it work? Right? When the Nigzal makes the Shliach. The Gazlan can't make the Shliach. Shliach Bezdin, it works either way. It's either the Gazlan comes to Bezdin to appoint it. No, I'm a Gazlan. I want to return it. I go to Bezdin, listen, I don't want to go to Madai. Do me a favor. Can you take this off my hands? Bezdin says, no problem. We'll appoint the Shliach. Says the Nigzal, listen, I can't deal with him. I just can't deal with this guy. He's a Gazlan. I don't want to see him. I don't want nothing. Do me a favor. Can you go ahead and point the Shliach? No problem. And Mashain came by Shliach. One second. The only one who can point the Shliach Be'edim is the Nigzal, the one who was stolen from, but not the Gazlan. So Mamela, you're giving me the model when you said Bezdin, you're giving me no, it doesn't make a difference. Mashain came the Shliach Bezdin, which would make a difference, right? And the Shliach Eidim, which would make a difference, then we're not learning that. Okay, now. Mashma from this Gemara that Shliach Bezdin, either one, a Nigzal or a Gazlan could appoint. It says Gemara Lafuki Mehaitana. That's opposed to this Tana. There's a Tana who says that Shliach Bezdin can't be what, right? Is only by the Nigzal, not the Gazlan, right? Not the Tanya. Reb Shimon Elazar Omer, Shliach Bezdin she'asu Nigzal, guys. Shliach Bezdin that's made by the Nigzal, v'yasu Gazlan. Good. So Shliach Bezdin can be made only by who? By the Nigzal, not by the Gazlan. Ayasu Gazlan, or the Gazlan makes a Shliach, the Sholach Halah, and then the Nigzal, he goes ahead, the Natal Shaloi Miyadoi, and he sends a Shliach to take it from the Shliach of the Gazlan, then Pata, he'll be Pata. So what do you see? What's a good Shliach l'Kabbalah? only one that's made by Bezdin of the Nigzal. It would not be by the Gazlin, right? So this teretz would not be this, like this Tana would be shver, because again, the Shliach Bezdin also is only one-sided. So the question would remain, why do you need to tell me the Kiddush in the Sefer when you could be telling me the Kiddush in the Reisha? So again, in this latter case over here, guys, Shliach Bezdin only appointed by Nigzal, not Gazlin, and then we just throw in, and if the Shliach of the Nigzal takes it from the Shliach of the Gazlin, then his pata is considered as a good hashava. Rabbi Yachan and Rebbe Lazar, Damit Shavai, both of the opinion, Shliach she'asu be'edim have a Shliach. They seem to agree with Rav Chisda. A Shliach that you made with edim is a good Shliach, it's Shliach Kabbalah, and therefore it's in his Rishus. The Im Taimar, if you're going to say, Mishnah Seinu, L'chayra from a Mishnah, it's not mashma like that, says Rashi. Diktani lo yitain l'shluchay, vid lo yasa be'edim in oyadinan. Right? Obviously, it was made with edim, and it says you shouldn't. If you return the gezela to his shliach, what does that Mishnah say? No. But 1 second. If you're telling me it's a shliach Kabbalah, why is it no good? Again, just when it says shliach be'edim, just put in the word the Kabbalah, and it becomes really clear. So our Mishnah, what does the Mishnah say? Our Mishnah says, if you give the stolen object to his shliach, it doesn't work. So how can Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Lazar argue on the Mishnah? Right? How can they argue in the Mishnah? The Mamsi Loy Shliach, over there it's speaking where he makes available the Shliach. The Amar Lei, the Nigzal says to the Shliach, listen, Islay Zuze Gabe Panya. I got money by so-and-so. And he's not sending it to me. Do me a favor. Ischazile, make yourself aware around him that he should see you. Make him around him, right? Dilma inishu deloy mashkech l'shadurele. Maybe he can't find someone else to go ahead and send it back, and send it back to you, and send it back to you. Okay. In other words, he really didn't make him a shliach. He asked him that, you know what, go find the guy, and if he wants to send it back to you, send it back to you. So that's in our Mishnah. So our Mishnah is speaking about make yourself available. Guys, in our Mishnah, if he would have gone ahead and said, you're a shliach l'Kabbalah, go get it, it would be good. You know what it's speaking about? He didn't make him that. He said, listen, this guy's not giving me back. Make it easier on him. Maybe he'll see you. Oh, by the way, you're going to Borough Park, you're going to Muncie, and that's why it doesn't work. Inami, Kidrav Chista, you didn't make him a shliach. It's speaking b'shakira v'lakita, either a person that again, you're accustomed to be around, or a worker for you. So therefore, again, the case of Ischazi, you didn't really make it with Eidim, right? Even though you made him a shliach. I'm Rabbi Yehuda Shmuel. I'm at base. Ein mishalchin mois b'di yukani. You can't send money b'di yukani. Okay. Rashi says, what's b'di yukani? Masalei balat b'kodin l'shliach simonim. The balat b'kodin gives to a shliach simonim that he's his shliach. The kosav lechoismoi, and he writes his signature be geres in a letter. Umasra he gives it to him. V'amar he says, listen, leich v'hera leploini, go show it to him, and he'll see my simin. V'yiten l'chamoy sheyesh libiyada. He'll give me money. So in other words, you shouldn't send money back with a guy who has right. Even it's simanim kasum alecha. In other words, the Edom are signed in it that it's his. This is the way Rashi learns. The Edom are signing that this is his sign. The crest of Stern, the crest of Bacon, a strip of Askamaya, right? So he signs over there. He signs something over there that says that's his. Can he stop getting excited? Anyway, so you have Edom signing this thing. You have Edom signing this thing, and don't give it to him. Rabbi Yochanan, that's Shmuel. That Shmuel said, don't go ahead and send it back. And Rabbi Yochanan Amar, im Edom chasum olaha, if Edom signed on this, mishalchen, then you could send it back. If Edom signed on it, you could send it back. Amar l'Shmuel, who said you can't. L'Shmuel, my takante. Now, according to Shmuel, what's the takana? Now, the easiest thing is Edom shliach with Edom. The question is, I don't know if Shmuel holds that, right? I don't know if Shmuel holds that. The easiest thing would be to say, why couldn't you go ahead, the takana? Why couldn't you go ahead and send it back with Edom? Why couldn't you send it back with Edom? This pshat, Paisvis and Baba Metzia says, we're looking for a takana that if the Meshaleach dies before the Meshliach is Makabalit, in other words, he could go ahead ostensibly make a shliach with Eidim and send him. What happens if he would die beforehand? So we want to make a takana to make sure it's a good hashava, lieu of the fact that he may predecease his shliach. He sends a shliach, right? He sends a shliach to go ahead and do it. Maybe he's going to die. So says the Gemara, my takante kihod the Rabbi Abba, the case of Rabbi Abba. Having masik zuzei b'Rabbi Yosef Bar Chama. Now Rabbi Abba was owed money from Rabbi Yosef Bar Chama. He was owed money. Now Amalei Rav Safra. So Rav, get the name straight. Rav Abba went ahead and told Rav Safra, "Bahade the Osis, when you go there, Isnayu Nehalei, right? He also go ahead and get it from him. When you go there, go get the money from Yosef Bar Chama. Ki also Hasam, when Rav Safra went there, he collected the money from Yosef Bar Chama. So Amalei Rabba Brei said, Amalei Rava Brei, guys, this is Rava. Rava is the son of Yosef Bar Chama. This is Rava of Rava and Abaya thing. So Amalei Rava Brei said Rava to who? To Rav Yosef Bar Chama, Mikosav L'choyes Kabalti. Did you write for Iskabalti, right? That you received it. Rashi says Iskabalti. Ma'usi b'kablona shel Rav Safra. So l'chayra, did you have a receipt? I guess he's speaking to Rav Safra. Do you have a receipt that you are makabel for what? For Rav Abba, and therefore my father will be off the hook. So Amalei Rav Safra told him lie. So excuse me. So he spoke to Rav Safra, and he asked Rav Safra, you have a Kabbalah that if you take this, that my father's off the hook. Amalei lie. So Yehachi Zil Bereisha. So if so, Rabbi told Rav Safra, go first. And then write a star that says, or some proof that you were makabel, and my father Rabbi Yosef Becham is off the hook. You're a shliach l'Kabbalah. So l'soif amalei at the end, Rabbi told Rav Safra, this is not an eitzah. This is not an eitzah. Even if you write that you're makabel, it's not an eitzah. Why? Dilma ad osis shachiv Rav Abba. Maybe before what? In other words, until it comes to you, right? If Rabbi Abba dies beforehand, you're not a shliach Kabbalah, right? Again, this is why the Taisus and Baba Kama and Baba Metzia learned that this is the case, because we want to make sure a case. How can I be makabel knowing without a shadow of a doubt? I don't have to worry about the patira of the malva. So maybe Rabbi Abba, who was old, Rashi said he was old, maybe he's going to die. The naflu zuze kame yasmei, and the skabalti de Rav Abba lav klumhu. Kabbalah would only be good for Rav Abba. It wouldn't be good for the Yisraelim. Then they would go ahead and be Taveiya at my father, Rabbi Yosef Bar Chama. So Amalei, so Rav Safra told Rav Velamai Takanta, what can we do? In other words, what can we do that you can give me the money that you don't have any concern? So guys, I bring you back to Kedushin. There's something called a Kinyan Agav. A Kinyan Agav is you can be koina metaltalin Agav Karka. So let's say a person owes you $1,000. So if you're selling him a piece of karka, you can sell him. He can put the agav the karka. You can be kind of $1,000. So here's the answer. Zil nakninu loch agav ara. Go here Rav Abba and be making to you Rav Safra a piece of land. So now you're gonna have the piece of land. The te'at and kosav lon is kabalti, and you go and write his kabalti. In other words, you're gonna be kind of the cash agav the land. Kihadra Papa Avimasik Treso Alfe Zuze Bichuzoira Papa, who guys, Papa was fabulously wealthy, right? Kenny would tell you he made his money. Kenny, can you talk?
No more. Different beer brand.
Yeah, he was a beer brewer.
The original Budweiser.
He was the original Budweiser, correct?
No more Budweiser.
He made right?
No more Budweiser.
No
conservative back then. No conservative.
He was Papa was a beer merchant, and he made a fortune of money. And he was owed a fortune of money. He was owed Tresa Alfe Zuze, 12,000 Zuze in the town of Bekuzai. Akninu Ne'alei Rav Shmuel Bar Abba, Agav Aseifa de Besa. He was makna that money to Rav Shmuel Bar Abba, Agav the lintel of his house. Kiyasa, and when Rav Shmuel Bar Abba came back, Nafik Lape at Toivach, he went and told this name of a place. He went to go ahead and greet him. He went out to greet him. So you see, this is the eitzah. If you want to make sure to get the money without a shliach, without shliach b'edim, and without concern that the guy's going to die, right? Go ahead, make a kinyan agav, give him a piece of land, and be making it to him. Then you're giving it to him. It's like you consider giving it to him, and he's going to pay it back to the original owner. Okay. The Mishnah had said, "Nasan layas keren." The Mishnah had said, "Nasan layas keren." If you give him the keren and you don't give him the chaimesh, you don't have to go ahead afterwards lamadai. Again, so just going over the chiddush of the Mishnah. If you go ahead and you don't swear, if you go ahead and you steal from somebody, guys, as soon as you steal, this halacha the heishiv es agzel shegazal. As soon as you steal, there's a mitzvah of hashavat. No questions asked. There's a mitzvah to return the object. No. The question is, do you have to chase after the nigzal or not? The answer is you don't. If you swear, then you have to. And we spoke at the beautiful Rambam yesterday, right? Because the guy said, once he swears, the guy gives up total hope. That you swore falsely, he's giving up hope. Anyway, so now, that's only on the keren. So if you paid, you went through the mitzvahs, you swore falsely, you were maida, you paid the person the keren, but you didn't pay him the chaimish. You paid him the keren, but you didn't pay him that quarter, right? You didn't pay him that quarter. You don't have to go afterwards to him to madai. You don't have to go afterwards to him to madai. Now, Alma, what do you see? Right? What do you see? Right? The Mishnah says that you don't have to go afterwards to madai. Shechaimish ma'maynahu. That what? It's considered a chayv. It's not a kapara. It's a chayv. Therefore, v'mayis, and therefore, if he dies, misham alei the yarshim. He's going to have to pay to the yarshim of the nigzal. In other words, the person, the nigzal died, he's going to have to pay it to him. Good. That's one din. So what you see that when it says that you don't have to go afterwards the madai, guys, if it's a kapara, so it's for yourself personally. If it's mammon, you'd have to go after the person, right? But still, the fact that it has to tell you don't go after the person, the fact that it tells you don't have to go after the person is the right that it's mammon. So therefore, one nafkamina would be where the nigzal dies, would you have to return it or not? If it's a kapara, you wouldn't. But nani, nasan as a keren, you pay the keren, the nishbal chaimish, and this guy we spoke at, this is the double loser. He doesn't get the. He didn't get the memo. He didn't get the memo, right? So nasan as a keren, v'nishba ala chaimish. Hari ma'isiv chaimish al chaimish. We said he'll continue. The chaimish will become the keren, and have to pay chaimish on that, right? Alma chumshu maynahu. We see from that also a raya that chaimish must be money when it was kaifer on, and he died, and he swears to it. V'tanya nami hachi hagoyzel es chaveiroi v'nishbaloi umeis yarshim mishamim keren v'chaimish upetur mino asham v'yarshim b'nei shlumei chumshu davuhu. Are they right? Ella must be that what? Then it must be that it is what? It's mammon. Okay? So we've proven that the chaimish is money. Fred the Gemara, you tell me the chaimish is money, uriminu, I'll ask you a stira. Now, the pasuk says, V'hoya ki yechta v'ashem v'hasev v'sagzela asher gazal. Okay. Urimini adayin ani oimer, emasai ena mashalin chaimish al gezel aviv. When does he not pay the chaimish on the gezel of his father? Bisman shaloi nishba, when there was no shvua, loy hu, loy aviv, right? The Gemara is going to ask if there's no shvua, why? Okay, so loy hu, loy aviv. In other words, no one swore. Then you don't pay a chaimish. Hu v'loy. So why are you paying a keren then? Says the Gemara, hu v'loy aviv, aviv loy hu. He swore his father didn't, or his father swore and he didn't. Hu v'aviv, they both swore. Minayin, how do you know there's no chaimish? He didn't do it. So therefore, since he didn't steal and he wasn't oishik before, there's no din of a chaimish or a stira. In the first case, it seems that chaimish is money. Over here, we see that chaimish is a kapara. So Rav Nachman says, Rav Nachman le kasha. Kan shahida, when his father was maida before he died, then there's a din of a chaimish. Kan shloi haida. Now, and where the second one where there's it's a kapara is speaking sheloi haida, where he's not. Now, if you look at Rashi again tells us something important. Kan shahaida aviv b'chayav acha shenishba. He was maida after he swore falsely in ischayla chumsha, and as a result of him admitting it, he's chayiv the chaimish. So mishal mi yorshim, then the yorshim have to pay. Ubraisa b'teres kahanim that says you are potter from chaimish is b'shloi hoida, where he swore but he wasn't moida. The kazat gedayda chashta b'loi hoida loy av v'loi ben. Neither one was. Okay, so guys, outside we have a stira. In one case, it says that kufra is memoina, and then what's that speaking about? Where he swore and he was moida that he lied. He swore that he didn't steal. He was moida that he did. Once he swore that he was moida that he did, there's a chiyuv chaimish. So even if the gazlan dies, that chiyuv chaimish falls upon the sons. The second brisa that says it doesn't fall is speaking where he was not moida. No one was moida. Mashma no one was moida at all. So if no one was moida at all, there's no chaimish on the sons. The Gemara is going to ask, if no one was moida at all, then why is there even a payment of keren? I'm not moida that I steal. I swore I didn't. I wasn't moida that I did. So why am I? Forget about the chaimish. Why? There shouldn't be a chiyuv keren. There shouldn't be the principle. I should be totally off the hook. I didn't admit to anything. Adarabba, I swore I didn't, and then I never was moida. So the Gemara is going to ask that as the kasha. But right now, that's the answer to this stira. Bryce number 1, where he was moida, therefore it's money. Bryce number 2. That's the answer. And again, the havamina is no one was moida, neither him or the father. Now, Ilay Haida, if the second Bryce is speaking where he was not moida, Keren Nami Loy Mishalem. He shouldn't even have to pay Keren. Keren Nami Loy Mishalem. The Chitema Hachanami, the Loy Mishalem. If you're going to tell me he doesn't pay Keren, but when you're going saying that what he doesn't pay the chaimish, the name of the Keren Mishalem. It must be you do pay the Keren. V'oid Tanya v'adayin oimer emisayim mishalim Keren al gezel aviv. When does he pay Keren on the gazelle of his father? Bisman shenishpa, when they swore either hu v'aviv aviv v'lehu hu v'leyaviv lehu v'leyaviv minayin that you're going to pay Keren. Tamalayim gazelle of oisha gavia upikadan. Yesh Talmud. Gemara asked a funny lashon. Is there a Talmud? V'yasirav v'huna v'kamar lo shmaitza amlei rabba berei yesh Talmud kamar mar. Did you mean there's a limit for this? It's not a svara. It's a limit that you pay. Or yesh Talmud kamar, or it's a svara that you pay mar. Amalei yesh Talmud kamin. I meant it's a Talmud. It's a pasuk. Umeribui the kroa amar. What's elamai? So it's a limit that you go ahead and you. And you pay. So it's speaking about Keren now. So the question is, if that second brisa was speaking where you weren't moida, why are you paying Keren? Elamai loy hoida. Like guys, what was the havamina? That no one was moida. We said no. Loy hoida aviv v'hoida benoi. It's speaking. You know what? There was a hoida. The son was moida. The father stole. The son was moida. The father stole. So again, there's no chaimesh because again the father. But it was a hoida of the son. For the Gemara, the chayiv b'noi chumish ashvua d-day, right? He should be chayiv on his shvua. In a case, we said even if he swore, you don't pay chaimish. Why not, guys? If he swore and he's being moida, he should pay chaimish. Ami b'shein gazela kayemis. It's speaking where the gazela is not around. It's not here anymore. Okay. In other words, Rashi says it's not upon him to make it up. It's if it was around, you have to make it up. It's not around. So why is he paying Keren? Like tzricha dik achrayis. In other words, there was achrayis. It was shibud on the karka to pay off. Rashi says dik achrayis nechasim. V'amrin lekamon demeniach aviyim achrayis nechasim karakois chayov lahachsim v'nei kavod aviyim. So if the father left property and there was a chiyuv, so the kavod aviv they're going to pay back. So what's the case, guys? Okay. The second brisa we're going to pay the Keren without the chaimish is where there was achrayis nechasim. It's achrayis nechasim to pay up the loan, but that's only going on the Keren, not the chaimish. It's going on the Keren, not the chaimish, because it's not around anymore. The gazelle is not around. Now skip the next lines, skip the top line, and go to the word chaimish, the last of the line. The last word in the line, kufhei, ihachi. If so, it's speaking about achrayis nechasim, guys. Chaimish nami mishalim. Then you should pay what? Chaimish as well. In other words, that's the teretz. But right now, if he's moida, he swore. Or else there's no chaimish in the beginning. Then he swore. There is a haidah. There's achrayis nechasim. You're paying Keren. Why aren't you paying the chaimish? Apparently, the whole formula for paying chaimish is there, guys. Good. Let's go through it. There's a gazela. There's a shua. There's a haidah. You're only paying kerem because you have property to back it up. So why aren't you paying a chaimish? We now know, guys, you can't swear al karka. Al karka. So his shvua wasn't a shvua. He swore. But it's not a good, it's not a shvua to mechayiv me what? A chaimish. It's not a shvua to mechayiv me a chaimish. This shvua is not a shvua because it's on karka. Rava mahacha mayaskinon. You know why you're not paying a chaimish? Because his shvua was truthful. He says his father stole. Kigoin shahoisa diskaya shel aviv mufkedes bi'ad acherim. His father's portfolio was entrusted to somebody else. Among that portfolio was the stolen object. He swore he didn't have it. It's true. He did not have it. It was by this other person, his rishus, right? Keren mishalem, the isya. Keren you pay because it's around. When he swore truthfully. He didn't know in fact that it existed. Okay, so let's go over. We had machloikis between Rav Chisda and Rabba, whether making a shliach be'edim is a shliach l'kabbalah or not. It seemed Allah is like Rav Chisda because Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Elazar paskin like him, that it would be a good shliach l'kabbalah. We said that, like the Man Yoma, that you, being a man a shliach, you can't make a shliach kabbalah. How would you go ahead and ensure that you can get a return without any issue? We said kinyan agav. Go ahead and give him a piece of action, and then let him agav you give him a piece of property. Agav the property, you be kind of the metaltalin. We have a sugya whether a chaimish is mammon or not, right? We said chaimish is if you're moed, it's mammon. If you're moed, it is money. If you're not moed, it's not money. That's the way you answer it up. If it's a case of if you're not moed, why are you paying the keren, right? Why are you paying the keren? So we had a pasuk to include that. It's a pasuk that included it. What about the chaimish? So he goes, it's speaking either because the guy swore, he swore the son, but the achrayus was on the achrayus was, again, als keren that wasn't around anymore. The achrayus was on nechasim, on karka. The achrayus was on karka, so pay back the chaimish also. The shvua is not create a chiyuv of a chaimish because it's not a good shvua. Again, the portfolio, the protocol is you need a shvua and then a keren hoidah and keren chaimish. He swore, but the shvua is not considered a shvua for what? For chaimish. Why? Because it's on karka. Or no, he swore that he doesn't have it, and truth he didn't have it. It was somebody else. Therefore, there's no chaimish if he swore truthfully.